Let me show you the best way to export images for web in Affinity Photo. Hello my friends, how are you doing? My name is Olivio, I'm a professional designer. Let's get started. This process actually starts in your camera when you take the photo. And the reason for that is because of the different websites where we post the images and the different devices which we use to look at these images. There we need different resolutions and different image ratios. So let me show you two important examples on how that is used. The first one, of course, is a website. So we can see here we have a normal desktop web design. Look at the image in the background. It's an asparagus, it's a high resolution image, and also it is wide because this is for desktop and usually we have a 16:9 screen ratio. Now when we scroll down here, you can see we have three different images that are vertical from the ratio and are next to each other. Now let's look at the mobile version of that same page. And you can see now that the asparagus image in the background is actually vertical and it is cropped into the image. When we scroll down, you can see that these images now also have a different ratio and they are now on top of each other. So when we take the photo, we need to take this into consideration so we are able to crop the photos like that. Now let's talk about social media. Go to Google and search for social media sizes followed by the number of your year because these pages and apps change their sizes all the time. Then select multiple of these pages down there and get the best information from them. Now, a very important part about this information is not just a list of the formats. You want to have a preview where that image is going to be and also be shown the safe areas inside of these images. The important thing here, for example, is on Facebook, when you upload a header photo for your page, it is shown on desktop and on the app and on the mobile phone and on the tablet, all kinds of different devices. So you can see here we have these dotted lines that show us the visibility of that image. So these parts here on the top and on the bottom, they are only visible on mobile devices, while these parts here on the side are only visible on a desktop browser. This is important for us because when we create a crop, when we create a design, we don't want to have important parts of that image suddenly missing. So we have to check that out before we do the crop. Let's go back to Affinity Photo and check out how we actually export this image for the web. Now, of course, the first part that is very important is we go up here to Document and click on Convert Format ICC Profile. We want to check that this is an RGB photo, which is important for the web, of course. And then also you want to make sure that this has the sRGB profile of this type, because this is the color profile that most devices and most browsers use, so they know which kind of color information is coming into the device so they can show it to you in the best of their ability. Now that we have decided this, of course, we need to crop our image or rotate it. When you want to crop, of course, you go here to the left side for your crop tool, and you have here these handles that you can use to crop the image in the size, in the ratio you need. But when you go up here to this little cogwheel, we have presets in here with different ratios. For example, 1:1 is often pretty good for Instagram. 4:3 is also good for Instagram at the moment. 16:9 is good for screens when you have it full screen. So when you click on that, you can see that the ratio is now changed to this. And when I resize this, it will keep the ratio. I can select exactly the area I want to have, and it will be in that ratio. Of course, after you have cropped the images to this ratio, you still need to check out here on Document, Resize Document, that the resolution is still high enough for your purpose. Now let's have a look at the export dialog. Let's go here to File and Export. And you can see here we are choosing JPEG. This is the main format you use for web photos. Usually here you have some presets. This one here says high quality, and this is usually the best for web pictures. You can also have medium quality, but then you might have some compression, fragmentation in your images. So only use this if you are in a location or in a country where the internet speed is very slow or the amount of internet data is very limited. Also, you don't want to go higher than that because everything above this will not really give you any kind of visual improvement, but it will make the file size a lot bigger. What you can also see here is you can set the size of the file. So when you want to export this in multiple kinds of resolutions with the exact same crop, you can do this right here. You don't have to change the document. So I can say here, I want to have this with a width of only 1600. When I click on enter, it automatically calculates the height of my image, and I can export this without changing the size inside of my document. So this saves me a lot of time. Now there's also a second process how you can do this, and this is the export persona. This is mainly helpful when you want to have multiple slices from the same image. So you can go over here, click on the slice tool, and with that you can see you can create these slices here. You can move them around until you have the exact position and ratio you want to have. Up here, it shows you the pixel resolution that you get when you slice it like this. But you can also export this in different kinds of resolution. So let's say I want to export it like this, for example, let's say for a newsletter, and I only want to have this as a width of 800 pixels. Right now it has 2553. How do I do that? Go over here to the Slice tab and then click on this little arrow for Slice 1. Down here it gives you the export size ratio. So on this it says 1 time, so this is exactly the size it has right now, but I said I only want to have 800 pixels. So go in here and type 800 and then W for width and click on enter, and you can see now if you would export this, it would export it with a width of 800 pixel and the height is calculated for you automatically. So with this you can also see I can add here a copy of that, and I can say here, for example, 1600 for the width. So you can quickly export multiple versions of the same slice or create multiple slices for multiple devices with different kinds of resolution and export all of them in one go. So this can save time, although the process is a little bit more complex. Now, of course, there's another thing we need to look out for here, and this is when we want to have round pictures. So let's do this real quick. I will select here my selection tool for ellipse, and then I hold my shift key, click and drag down. This will give me a perfect circle. Now that I've done this selection, you can see here that I have a cursor with arrows looking in all sides. This means I can click and move my selection around until I have something that I like. So let's say this is good. Control and C for copy, then go up here to File, New from Clipboard, and this will create a new file. You can see here we have a checkerboard in the background. This means this area is transparent. If you don't see that, go to Document and then make a hook here to Transparent Background. This is very important for us for our next export step. You need to keep in mind that a JPEG does not have transparency in it. So if you want to have a round image, for example, for your web design, if you overlay it onto a colorful background, here is how you do that. Go to File and then Export, and instead of JPEG, you want to select PNG. PNG automatically has the transparency included, and you can see here it has a bigger file size, so you want to make sure that the resolution is actually pretty low. Let's go here, let's say with 300, and you can see now it's a pretty small file. that is really good, because often if you have these round images, they are usually for icons or profile pictures or stuff like that, where they don't have to be high resolution. But check the resolution first before you do this kind of exporting, and then you click on export and you're done. But when you look at this image here on Facebook, it appears to be round, but it is done from a normal JPEG. So actually Facebook will make it round for you by the web code they're using. You don't need to cut it round and export as a PNG. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Thank you for all of my Patreon supporters to make these videos possible, and see you in my next tutorial. Bye.